everybody, welcome back. It's Joe White from Get Life Coaching, and welcome to another edition of Live Free. So here we are, our fourth and final installment of our relationship series. We've talked about the power of relationships, the power of the we. We've talked about what to do when the relationship is falling down, and really what we really need to do to save our relationship. Today, we're going to share with you the secrets, the two secrets that are so important that you must know, trying to build up some suspense in order to have that magical relationship. There's two characteristics. You know, they did a study of what brought people together. And they realized there was four main parts. The first one was sexual attraction. That was first. The second was proximity to each other. Work environment, community, where they were able to frequent or spend time with each other on a regular basis. The third was they had a shared belief or a shared passion. So I like football, you like football, we're able to connect on something. Or the fourth one was a vested interest. So maybe we slept together once we had a kid, or there's something that would connect us. And after a period of time, they just ended up into a long-term relationship. Out of those four, which one do you think is the most prevalent that brings people together? Well, people usually say sex, but no, it's really proximity. It's the number one reason why people begin to come together. So who we spend time with in our circles, very much we will develop that relationship with. And it's not a bad thing, but we really want to understand the two secrets, those two key components. I'm dying going out in front of you. The reason why is because you don't want to get caught in a relationship and get hooked. You don't want to get hooked because the sex is amazing. That's good, but there's nothing else there. It's not good. Or the fact that you feel this connection because every time at work you can share this dream, this vision of changing the world and where you work at. But you take yourself out of that environment and there's nothing there. So these aren't inherently wrong or bad, but they are things that can hook us. In other words, we start deleting the other two things which are really, really important. So the first thing is you have to be a good team fit. Or, in other words, you have to have your top values aligned. Now, it's not an absolute must. For example, if someone's top value is certainty and someone else's adventure, can they have a great relationship? Well, I'm sure they could. If the rules, what has to happen, or how they define certainty, or how they go about adventure, if they complement, yes. But inherently, there's an issue there. Because a certain person always wants to feel certain, the adventurer always wants to feel uncertain. You see? It's kind of like driving a car. If you're driving down the highway and the car needs an alignment, you can go straight, but it always takes effort. Now, what happens is over time, we get tired. And we tend to either become distant or we start adapting. In other words, we lose ourselves and we become less authentic so that we can acquiesce to keep the relationship, which is different than evolving. Becoming more, creating more interest, sharing things together, then becomes more about sharing the experience than just strictly the activity. So the first thing you want to look for is the shared values. You know, shared values in parenting, in family, what you guys want in life. You know, someone doesn't want kids and someone does want kids. Not probably a good team fit. Got to have that conversation. Don't get married and then have that conversation and realize, well, I never really wanted kids. I thought you understood that. Well, I told you I always wanted kids, but we never spoke about it. Really? I've heard that. So make sure your values, make sure your life is going in the same direction. And that will give you a lot of security and certainty, but will not give you passion. So what gives you passion? What gives you that sexual tension, good sexual tension, that energy? Differences. It's our polarities of our core. In other words, there was a book came out while ago by John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus. You might remember it. Not a bad book, not inherently wrong, but John talked about men and women, our genders, and not more about our sexual side of our energies. Not energy work, but in other words, we have masculine energy and we have feminine energy. And usually men have more masculine and women have more feminine, but we all have a blend. And that's what creates that energy. It's the masculine energy and the feminine energy. So many times I've seen couples, and what happens is they have, the male has lost his masculine, and the woman has lost her feminine, and there's no polarity. And they sit on my couch, they talk to me, and they say, we don't have sex once every 2 months. I go, are you kidding me? Sex once? You're a man and you don't want sex more? I just don't think it's important. You know, Joe, and I hear this story. You know, Joe, that, well, the kids and the dogs and the vacation house, when you get older, your libido changes. And I'm 46 and nothing's changed in me. What has changed is when you first met, he was masculine. She was feminine. They had that chemistry. Now I could go on and on and on. Actually, I had to edit it and cut it down because I try to keep these videos somewhat watchable, right? But I'm going to give you some resources. Because if you don't have that sexual connection, you won't have that passion. And very often we settle for the security of love, but we dismiss the passion, or we do it at the cost of passion. And that's getting back into our core, whatever our core is and whatever our blend is. I have tons of female energy, but I'm masculine at my core. My girl Kira, she has tons of female energy as her core, and she has a masculine streak too. And life is about understanding the balance and the delicate relationship between the two, and being in the energy for the context or the outcome you want. But in relationship, we need to return to our core. We spent a whole seminar coming up in a few months, not advertisement, but kind of, right? Relationship Transformation is a 3-day weekend seminar that we're doing that really gets into a lot of the points from this series, and the masculine and feminine really help pull it apart so you can use it to refine that passion or know what to do when you start taking the eye of the ball and all of a sudden, you know what, you're not feeling it for each other anymore. That's not common. It's a myth. It's a myth that says when you first meet, you have all that passion, but then after a while, it wears off. No, it's not supposed to wear off. It wears off because you stop doing those very things that used to ignite. I've heard all the excuses. The kids, the dogs, the cats, the grass, the football game, the PTA, everything. And know what they are? They're stories. Because in the beginning, when you wanted to hook up with each other, whether it was 2 o'clock in the morning or it was a few minutes before you went to work, we always found time. And this isn't about sex, but it is about sex. It's about our sexual energy. And that doesn't mean the physical act, but doesn't exclude it either. It's the joking, it's the touching, it's the looks, it's the smile, it's the excitement. So, come to our seminar. It's a great resource. Another great resource where I kind of first learned about all this was a great book by David Deida, D-E-I-D-A, called The Way of the Superior Man. If you're a client of mine, you read it, right? If you're not a client of mine yet, it's a great resource because it talks to you, the way of the superior man. Now, women, don't judge that title. I know what happens. What do you mean you're superior? It means that we are knuckle grinders on the ground, that we are Neanderthal cavemen, and that our goal in life is to evolve above that we can become more. That, like John says, men need to go to the men's cave. Yeah, we go to our men's cave, we come out, our woman's gone. What we need to do is not learn how not to go to our man cave and how to give her a present, how to be there for her, and say, I got this, and be consistent. Not run, but stand tall, and give her more love, give her more of the reassurance that she's after. So it's a great resource. And for women, he has some other books out there, but I really recommend that book for you too. Okay, now here's a great part about the book for the men, why you should read it. Every page is a page, every chapter is a page and a half. So you can read it in many convenient places. It's made for the short but powerful attention span of men. The Way of the Superior Man. Or come to the Relationship Transfer. Both of them transfer. Relationship Transformation. You can transfer the old stuff into the new stuff as you transform. And come together and really learn how to create that intimacy. I said it's the first day. That the power of the relationship comes down to the emotional intimacy. Far more important than any physical intimacy. Everything, physical, communication, trust is built on emotional intimacy. So my goal here is to help you at least begin to evaluate your relationship. Stop settling for mediocrity. Okay, that's garbage. Stop settling for the myths. right? Stop protecting yourself every single time. Stop being a victim in the relationship. Start loving more, receiving more. You and each other, we're better than this. We're capable of so much more. And the end, it feels amazing. And there'll be moments before you get to the end and after the end, after the, that next evolution, that thing's going to hurt. Because a person that can make you feel the most alive, you also give the ability to hurt you. And the sad part of our human design is sometimes, or very often, we hurt the people that we love the most. Welcome to love. Until next time, this is Joe White from Get Life Coaching. Live free.